Okay, welcome everyone to the Pro Trade Room Plus NFP, the U.S. Jobs Report. My name is Lee Goldstein, the Trading Director at 10-Minute Trades. Please remember, I'm not a financial advisor. It is possible to lose money trading futures, so please trade carefully. Okay, everyone. I'm here a little bit early. Just thought we'd watch the markets a bit. There's a lot of news coming out, and there's, again, because of the government shutdown, there's a fair amount of confusion about what news will actually be released. I had thought, based on the reports that I heard yesterday, that the jobless claims would be delayed. That what we're getting today is most of NFP. So I think regardless, we're going to get quite a big response in the market. Obviously, this is a very risky report. It's on a Thursday. It doesn't, fall on. I've never seen this report on a Thursday. I don't think that's going to make much of a difference in what happens. I think there's going to be a big move no matter what. I personally think it's going to be bad news. There's not going to be a lot of jobs created. Then they'll probably say, oh, the data is incomplete. Oh, there's too many revisions. Oh, it's not valid. Oh, we got to change everything. All the ways we collect data. The same moaning and groaning goes on every month. So we'll see. But I think, I'm not trading it on what I think, but I think the reports are going to be lousy. The report. Less jobs than what they expect. But it is possible that not all the data gets released. So, not everything that we expect. Certainly, if you want to trade a little bit lower risk, and even a magnet could have risk, extra risk today, because if you get a giant burst in gold, you could get a bad, what if you get a bad fill? That's always the worry when you take a trade at the exact moment of the report. It's 300 ticks to the high with gold. I don't think we've ever had a 300 tick move on this report. So I think trading the magnet to the upside is an interesting trade. Gold was much more negative earlier than it is now. Looking at gold to the downside, it's even further away to the low. 440 ticks to the low side. So I don't think that necessarily is going to happen. Okay, so that's far. Those are far, far levels. Now you could get a VWAP test of the magnet. That's a lot closer. The VWAP. That's a trade that could take place. It's like 80 ticks. That's definitely in the realm. It might test the VWAP before the news. That's very possible. So what do you do? What do you do on a report like this? Hang on one second. He's absolutely wrong because I'm pretty sure we knew last week when they were releasing these reports. But it was definitely Monday, if not earlier. Okay. Um, how do you want to trade this? How would you normally trade this? We have two setups that we usually use. Now I'm going to wait because this trade room wasn't supposed to start until 8. So I'm not going to get into the setups yet. Let's give people a chance to roll in. All right? We're early. All right. Looking we looked at gold this morning, looking at gold on a longer term chart. It was bearish, right? It was bullish after Nvidia. It was bearish overnight, and now it's back to being bullish again. It's really powered up off the low. It's above the VWAP. And I would have to say that, looking at the 15-minute chart, gold's looking more bullish. That low of the day might not get tested, right? We're above the VWAP and climbing, getting ready to go flat on gold. Bonds, which is another instrument that we like to trade on this report, but a lot of times you have to trade that in a cash account, okay? Because a lot of the prop accounts don't allow bonds. Not all of them, but some of them. I guess they'll never fix that. That's just going to be the way it is. Bonds, you got to use a pretty decent sized bracket. That would be, we have a setup, and we'll go over the setups in a minute. Now, people are here. I mean, so TJ's asking, what about ES? I mean, the truth is, every single instrument moves on this report. We've had an NQ set up with an 80 tick bracket. We've never spent a lot of time with the ES on this report, TJ. Just one of the instruments we just haven't really used on this report all that much. It's not to say that it's not going to move, but I don't really have an ES set up for this report. But everything is going to move, virtually everything. Yeah, this is difficult, Roz. Honestly, it's difficult today. Looking at, I mean, look, every day reports can be difficult. Um, we've had 5 gold winners in a row. That's a lot of winning trades. That's a lot. So it is what it is. It's a lot of winners. A lot of winners. I'm going to trade. I'm probably going to trade just a one contract gold because this is the kind of report that can blow up an account. I don't really want to blow up an account. Yeah, ZF has been a good instrument to trade overall on this report. ZF is the reason we've called it a family money trade because the ZF has been reliable. Now, just let me pull it's a while since we did the notes on this because it's been a delayed report. So let me pull up some data. If I can find it. Let me find it. Now we increased the bracket on bonds because it was much safer to go for a larger bracket. And then bonds, they had no fill in September, small profit in August, a nice trade in July. Um, bonds, you could take a one contract trade with bonds if you want to. So first thing I'm going to do is let me set up a gold trade. It's a big stop, it's a 35 to a 50 tick stop on gold. Gold is $10 a tick. It's $10 a tick. So I'm going to trade a one contract gold trade. And it's a breakout. And I'm going to put the orders on the chart. 829.59. And the bracket is 30. So if I trade one position and the winners are more than 100 ticks, that's a lot of ticks. So what I would do is make my target now on the DMM. The targets are very manageable because there can be very large amounts of chop on this trade. So it's difficult to get 100 ticks in one shot because a lot of times it'll go 50, it'll back up 40, then it'll go up 70. It can whip a lot. What might make sense is not to be greedy on the report. So I'm going to go for a 60 tick target, and I'm going to use the stop of 50. But if the market moves 40 ticks, I'm going to move my stop to plus 30. If it goes all the way to my target of 60 ticks, beautiful. It'll hit my target. If it pulls back after going 30 ticks or 40 ticks, if it goes 40 ticks, which is very possible on this report, then it'll move my stop to plus 30 and it'll try to protect it if it's changing direction. So that's my gold trade, just one contract because the stop's very big. There's a lot of risk. We've had 4 or 5 winners in a row. That's my trade. I'm going to trade it in my number 20 account and I'm going to label it GC breakout. All right, GC breakout. I'm going to check the bracket, put my chart on sim for a moment, check the bracket, put the time on 0. I think the high of day magnet is a great trade. I think it's a real possibility it can get there. Okay, so there's our breakout trade. I'm not really concerned about the gold open this morning. I don't trade the gold open when there's jobs reports like this. Putting my time back to 8:29, bracket of 30, just one contract, 60 tick target. Yeah, I think 60 is okay, Roz. I think 60 is okay. I think, yeah, 75 is okay. I think that's fine. It's $75 roughly. All right. So 829.59, bracket of 30, target of 60. Stop of 50. If the market moves 40 ticks, I'm going to move my stop to plus 30. And I'll trade this in prop, labeled gold breakout, apply it, okay it. So we're ready for setup number one. Also going to put a reverse continue on the chart with gold, right click strategy, double click news trade, reverse continue, one position, target of 40, stop of 30. This is just a discretionary scalp trade. My scalping's been horrendous for the past 2 weeks, so I'm going to be very, very cautious about any scalps that I take. Same account as my breakout, label it GC, reverse continue, apply it, and okay it. So we have a scalp set and we have a regular trade set, the regular breakout. All right. This is some. They said they were delaying some. Check that Schwab site again, Arthur. Check the Charles Schwab site again. What does it say? I mean, this is NFP. Yeah, that was what I thought was happening today. Jobs, not unemployment claims. That's what I thought we were getting today. No unemployment claims. It almost doesn't matter because the jobs report is so much more important. It's going to overtake anything from unemployment claims. Now, I'm going to just simulate the bonds to see how the setup works. Bonds are a breakout 829.58 on ZF. 829.58, bracket of 15, targets of 8 and 15, and a stop of 15. If it hits the first target, I would do target 1 BE minus 8. Just trying to keep the stop out of the way, but if it's a quick whip, I would want to have a stop protecting a full stop. I'd like a move stop so it's not a full stop. If I were going to trade bonds with a one target, one contract, my target would be 15. And if the market moves 10 ticks, I'd move my stop to break even plus 11. Sorry, if the market moves 10 ticks, I'd move my stop to break even plus 8. It's hard to trade a one contract on bonds unless it has a great move. Unless it has a great move. If your target is 15, I don't know. I mean, I'm almost tempted just to trade it manually. If the target's, look, if it moves 10 and changes direction, if you move the stop to plus 8, it's not a horrible trade. It's just not gigantic. It's not gigantic. So I would do, if the market moves 10 ticks, move my stop to BE plus 8. But if it's a good move, I would look to trail and expand my target in a one contract trade. All right. So I'm just testing bonds in Sim because my prop account will not allow bonds. So I'm trading the ZF just as it is on the DMM, a bracket of 15, target of 8 and 15, stop of 15, BE minus 8 if it hits the first target, and I'm doing it on Sim, and I'm just labeling it bonds. Apply it and OK it. We know, I'm going to check the bracket. We know every instrument can move. We've had euro trades, we've had 6J, the yen. Every instrument is going to move on this report. We've been trading gold forever on the report. It's at 5 winners in a row. ZF, we've been trading forever. ZF and ZN. The one thing I don't like, but we are in a pretty tight range, I don't love orders at the high. You know, placing an order at the high. It's not my favorite. When you look at where the order's showing up, they're right at the high of the day. Now, the truth is, bonds are pretty flat. The market's waiting for this news. So I think we're going to go through all the levels without much of a problem, especially if the news is not as expected. So bonds are a sim and gold is real. I don't think it necessarily would be a loser, Calvin, but you talk about probabilities and it certainly scares you a little bit, doesn't it? When you have 5 winners in a row, it makes you think there's a probability that this could be a loser just because you've had so many winners in a row. That's what I hate. But we've had situations with this report where there's been many, many winners in a row over the years. So anything can happen on this report. If you wanted to trade a magnet, you could trade, I think the high magnet probably makes the most sense. It's still pretty far away from it, but you can get a lot of movement after the news. Trading gold for a magnet is not unreasonable. It may not get there. It may not get there because we're at 89 and the magnet is $20 away. That's 200 ticks. Can it move that much? Yes, it can. It can move that much. We've seen it. The low side is much more. I don't think we'll get to the low. So you can set up a gold magnet, right click, click on strategy, double click magnet, high of day, low of day, proximity, put it on a 5. We're going to move it anyway. I would trade one contract to get to the magnet, a 40 tick stop at least, okay? Choose the instrument, the chart, the account you want to trade it in. Label it GC magnet. Apply it and okay it. And then when you turn on the magnet, you can have your orders, okay? Now, you can put your order wherever you want by just moving it. It's up to you where the order goes. With gold, if it gets above 4106, it's a pretty nice magnet. If it goes and tests the high after that, that's a $300 trade. Also, there is a low magnet. I'd be shocked if we got there, but the order is there. If gold should shoot down, I don't think that you're going to get a fill from the news for the magnet. You might get a fill after the news. It would be surprising to see a fill from the news. The upside is more possible than the downside, but it's still very far away. All right. We've got September's video. What happened in September? We were looking at the euro on the right side, gold on the left. Six E, gold, bonds. 6E had a nice burst on the trade, and gold had a very nice winner also. So we've had a lot of different setups, a lot of different setups. On the 6E, we were using a 15 bracket and a 50 stop. A 15 bracket, I'd probably use a 20 today, and a 50 stop, targets of 20 and 40 on the euro. You could see the euro had quite a bit of slippage, it looks like. No, you know what? In looking at it, it wasn't that bad. It was filled fairly low down on the candle. Not that bad. And bonds had a very nice move up last month. It's really 2 months ago. Now gold much further away to the high. Gold bracket is 30. Gold bracket is 30. Stop is 50. We've had one jobs report where a gold stop of 100 would have worked. That's a lot of risk. That's $1,000. But it did work. It kept the trade safe. Now, supposedly Philly Fed is coming out today also. That usually does not move the market all that much. And then if you look at, I have August also. Gold on the left in August and bonds on the right. Gold hits the first target. Bonds had a really big move up. But we realized our bracket was too small. Now we've adjusted our bracket so we don't have any problems. Should not have any bond bracket issues. That was a bracket too small. Now I don't have the magnet set up automatically. If I wanted my magnet to be automatic, I would make the magnet entry button purple, but I have a trade that I'm trading, the breakout. So I'm not going to trade multiple setups on the same chart. It screws things up, okay? You can't without ruining one trade or the other. You have to use a separate account if you're going to trade the exact same instrument at the exact same time with two different setups. So we got about 3 minutes. Um, the gold open was at 820. So that was not a perfect trading candle, okay, for gold open. I do not trade gold opens when there's a jobs report. So I don't think that all of this news is coming out. I don't think housing starts is coming out. I'm not sure about the continuing jobless claims. That's what seems to be a little bit confusing, whether or not those initial claims are coming out or not. What do I think gold will do? Tanmay, I just honestly, I don't know. I wish I could tell you that. We have a bracket. So if it goes up 30 ticks, we'll go long. If it goes down 30 ticks on the news, it'll take us short. That's the approach we're taking on it. I honestly don't know. Gold hasn't been behaving quote unquote normally for more than a year. In the old days, it used to be that if news was good, gold would go down. If news was bad, gold would go up. We have seen gold move with the market so much, though, that it hasn't followed those old rules of engagement. It's very different now. It doesn't act that way all the time. So you can't really count on gold to go the opposite way. Um, the opposite way. The 6E, I gave the setup for the 6E. Uh, I would use a 20 bracket on the 6E with a 50 stop. 20 bracket and a 50 stop. You're doing it as a trap, Chantal. Targets of 30 and 50. Is that what you mean? A 30 bracket. Okay. I mean, I we had a 15 previously. We had a 15 previously. But I do think today's going to be more volatile. So, all right. 10 seconds. Total whipsaw. Complete whipsaw in everything. Total whipsaw in everything. Uh, and so that account is done. That prop account did not survive that. Didn't survive it. That's a shame. Bonds went down and reversed. The news is 119 on the jobs. I mean, the worry was five winners in a row. That was the worry. Five winners in a row. Very risky report. Very risky report to trade. Just looking right now at the euro's bursting up now. The euro's bursting up now. Bonds, I don't think that, even a 15 bracket, it was a 20 bracket today, 20 bracket, which is really big on bonds. It's a very, very, very big, very big. There's a lot of news, a lot of news. Philly Fed did come out not too far from what was expected. Payrolls better than expected, better than expected. Looking at, say, the NQ. So NQ almost looks like the NQ had a very good move. Almost looks like the NQ had a very good move. Just looking at a 1 minute chart, it looks like it didn't have a whipsaw. Looks like it didn't have a whipsaw. And then ES. ES, not much of a whipsaw either. Very small. Very small. 8 ticks on the ES. Just watching price now. Looking now, going back to gold. Gold just had too big of a whip, way too big of a whip. It was a gigantic, it was just a complete whipsaw on gold. Nothing, I don't think anything could have helped. And so fast, too fast. Gold is dead to me now. It's not dead to me, but it's frustrating because we haven't traded the indexes on this report in a very long time. A very long time. And the indexes were great today. The indexes were perfect, and gold was difficult out of all of them. YM looks like it also had a great move. Looking at the move down first, it was bigger than the other instruments, but not a very big, not very big, not a very big move down. So the indexes were the best today. Indexes were the best. Silver, knit and traded silver. Now I'm assuming you got filled short on silver. It's impossible to know which is going to be best. There's no way to know. There's absolutely no way to know. Other than looking at the testing and you look at what's been doing the best over and over and over. And those are the ones you try to go with. We've had 5 winning golds in a row. 5. That's, you know, I didn't make it a family money trade, but 5 golds in a row gives you some confidence in gold. Gold's been trading great on this report. It's the reality. It's been trading great. Bonds have been trading great, but they needed a 20 bracket today. That's a very big bracket on bonds. And then NQ and ES looked the best, actually. They looked the best. And YM looked great too. So it's very, very, it is difficult to figure out which one to do. We're going to stick around. On YouTube, we're done streaming for today. I want to thank you for watching. And we do have a webinar today on different setups. Um, so I don't know. I can't type into YouTube right now. But if you're on our email list, you'll get a notice that we have a webinar at noon. So thanks for joining us on YouTube.